Tisha. I am your elected reader for today. The theme for 2025 is Rising Higher and Growing Deeper. The theme for June is Living in Color. And I want you to thank me so your color may be brighter. Today's topic, and we're still here together. Reverend Elizabeth Raleigh reminds us of our truth. Your spiritual magnificence is your very essence. It is the place within you that has never been hurt or harmed. It's your highest and best self. Your greatness, brilliance, and opulent splendor. It's the kind and generous, trusting, believing, prosperous, grateful, wise, beneficial presence on this planet that is you. It knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and it does it. Brene Brown reminds us that owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we will ever do. So let us affirm together, I embrace the power of vulnerability and connection. Very nice. And I'd like to welcome Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson for our wonderful message today.
Thank you, Tisha. So let's begin at the beginning. All there is one source, one life, one power. So what does that mean? We are that life, that presence, that power in expression, individualized, uniquely individualized. And yet, we are all connected. There's an awareness that has been continuing to rise in human consciousness that all life is connected. So the earth and everything on it, plants, animals, water, oil, soil, air, is bound by an invisible connection, a matrix. Those who have studied and continue to bring forth information from the quantum science, the physics, show us that there's one unified field that binds us all together and supports us in this amazing thing called life, our life support, but also our life expression. So with me, there's an awareness that it's important to stay awake to that. Rumi said, don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. So it's continually reminding ourselves to stay in connection, in the awareness of connection. And of course, we do that here through spiritual practice. We encourage everyone to take time each day to go into the silence, to pray, to breathe, and to connect to that source within us, that inner wisdom, that sense of the creative power that we have within us to shift things in the direction of peace and love and joy and all good. So this divine matrix and our role in it, our part in it, is something that the great mystics of all time have known and have told us and have expressed. In all different traditions, whether it's the indigenous cultures or whether it's Buddhism or Hinduism or even the early Christians, there's been this continuous awareness among the mystics that's been passed down through the generations of this divine matrix that connects all life, this unified field of ultimate reality that is beyond our five senses. You know, our five senses tell us otherwise, that we're all separate. But yet, at this deeper level, we're all connected. And so what we do with our own consciousness and our own minds matters. It makes a difference. So the mystical perspective then, if we practice it, is one about seeing everything as sacred, seeing everything as holy, whether it is our journey to the supermarket, our interaction with the cashier, with our coworkers, with our family. Everything is a holy encounter. So when we begin at that place, that idea of our interconnection, of our effect on everyone and everything, then we're standing on solid ground and we're being a beneficial presence on the planet. So with that in mind, I am inviting us to continue to explore this idea of staying awake to our connection, to our holy connection with all life, through being vulnerable. And that may sound like, really? Being vulnerable is going to help me stay connected? Well, you will see. I'm going to take you through that. And also through service. And I think those of us who know the importance of being in service consciousness know how powerful that is in strengthening our connection with the source within and with the source in one another. So connection through vulnerability. Theodore Roosevelt said this was called Man in the Arena. They kind of dubbed it, but it was part of a big speech that he gave. He said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better." In other words, the person who's looking for what's wrong. That's not the person that counts. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, daring greatly. Not watching from the sides passively, but in the arena, daring greatly. So one step in practicing connection then is tuning into the divine self and others by willing to be vulnerable. That means to walk in the arena of life with the intention of genuine connection, genuine understanding, particularly if somebody disagrees with us. We have a disagreement. This willingness to be vulnerable, to share our feelings and our thoughts and our story, how we see things. Owning our story, which is what Brene Brown was talking about. Owning our story, sharing it, and going into the conversation with the intention of not only being understood, but being willing to understand the other person's perspective. So being open and honest, I understand, I get it. It's risky. It's risky to be open and honest. And yet at the same time, if we do it from a grounded place, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a minute, then and with our intention on creating understanding and deepening connection, then the energy is different than if we're in it to be right and to prove the other person's wrong. But if we're in it for connection, it has a whole different energy to it. That intention is so powerful. So yes, it's uncomfortable, and yet avoiding challenging conversations keeps us in that state of divisiveness, keeps us in that state of feeling separate from others. So yes, this requires courage. Yes, this requires bravery. And yes, this requires stepping out of our comfort zone in order to deepen our connection and our understanding with others. So this is the part that I think is really important, because powerful healing will take place when we ground in our truth. So let's prepare before difficult conversations with spiritual practice. That means processing our feelings, noticing when the feelings are up, the reactivity is going, and we're just not going to be coming from our best place if we go into the conversation in that place. So we have practices here to process our feelings. I've shared them with you over the past several months of just feeling your feelings fully, breathing into it, and then immediately reminding ourselves of who we are in truth. I am the individualization of the divine. I am the infinite power and presence of God, individualized, creating everything that I experience. We do. We create everything that we experience. It's not that other person that's doing it. So owning that story is really important. Understanding this isn't my story, but I'm reminding myself who I am in truth, and that this experience that I'm having is mine. It's my perspective. So we process our feelings. We use affirmative prayer, which Dean demonstrated so beautifully today, of bringing ourselves back into alignment with who we are, grounded in spiritual truth, aware of the sacredness of all life, the sacredness of myself and the other person I'm speaking to, speaking with, and then taking a few moments in the silence, breathing in and out of the heart. I find that very helpful because it connects mind and heart together, accesses greater wisdom. Today, after hearing the news, I also have this progressive relaxation that I do because I noticed I was in reactivity, so I felt the bottom of my feet, the top of my feet, just slowly, my legs, my torso, my arms, my neck, but I did this very slowly, feeling all those aspects all the way till I get to the crown of my head. And then I breathe. I have this breath that really supports me, even getting it to sleep at night, which is 4, 7, 8. In to the count of 4, breathe in, hold to the count of 7, exhale to the count of 8. I've shared this even with people who are not part of our community and who have trouble sleeping, and they come back and say, wow, I did 10 of those cycles and I went right to sleep. So these are ways that we can turn on the relaxation response and get ourselves back into alignment, into an openness to that flow of wisdom within us, so that we can be that beneficial presence in the conversation wherever we go. Another thing that's really helpful is to set a few guidelines. I learned this when I was a school counselor and working with peer mediators. These were 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders that we trained to be peer mediators. And they were amazing once they learned their skills. But these were the guidelines that they gave their 2 disputants. Don't interrupt, no name calling or put downs, listen and be honest, agree to work toward a win-win solution, and keep what is said confidential, and follow through on your agreement. Beautiful. 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders did that so beautifully. I got to witness it. And I would see them out in the hall, sitting cross-legged, the two peer mediators and the 2 disputants, and going through the guidelines and then carrying out their conversations, coming to agreements. So it's very powerful. So if 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders can do it, we can do it. And then this is a really helpful phrase that Brené Brown offers. And this is a way of being open and honest in the dialogue without blaming the other person. So it begins like this. The story I am telling myself is, do you see how powerful that is? The story I'm telling myself is, and then you can tell the person what you're perceiving, what you're thinking. And then there's an opportunity then to check the accuracy of your story with what's really going on. So as we do that, then, can you see what's happening? We are breaking down the walls of divisiveness, breaking down the walls of separation, and coming into a space of mutual understanding. And I love the idea of win-win solution where everybody walks away and feels like, this is good it's just as good for me as it is for the other person, the thing that we agreed to. So the power of vulnerability to strengthen mutual understanding and connection. So what is the fear or the armor that's keeping us? And I ask myself, what's keeping me out of the arena, out of stepping into the arena of working things out? Is it perfectionism? Is it intellectualizing? Is it cynicism? Is it control? Whatever it is, I think Rumi, again, has a beautiful way of bringing us back by saying, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. He's talking about a field of consciousness, of connection, the awareness of the divine matrix. A field, and I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. And that's what we do when we go in with the intention of bridging and connecting instead of being right, proving that we're right and that someone else is wrong. So all life is holy and sacred, even in discussions that are challenging, because it supports us again in that consciousness of wholeness and oneness that we talk about, that awareness of what we can do to be a beneficial presence. All right, connection through service. I have a beautiful story that I ran across. It's the story of Michael Baker. Now, imagine this. Michael Baker, fresh out of high school graduation, walks into the Burger King where he works normally. But, it's his day off, but he walks in to get some burgers for his family. And he notices that his coworkers are really struggling. They're short-staffed. So here he is in a button-down shirt, all of his medals on that he earned because he was an honor student and so on. And he jumps back behind the counter and starts helping them with the fries. And singing and just enjoying himself. Well, one of the mothers of her daughter, her name was Maria Mendoza. Maria Mendoza. Her daughter, Daisy, was also a graduate in the same class as Michael. And she's noticing him. And she was so inspired by his generosity that she took a video of it and put it on TikTok. Pretty soon, over 1 million people tuned into it. She said, you know what, I can support this young man. I can start a GoFundMe. So she started a GoFundMe for Michael and earned almost $200,000, or, people started sending in money. I mean, think about what that is. A generous, spontaneous moment of service by Michael. And what happened after that? It inspired Maria. Maria went into service on the part of Michael and started a GoFundMe. And then a whole bunch of other people went into service and provided funds for this young man to start off his new college career, his new college experience. Wow! I mean, isn't that amazing? I love it. One sacred act of love begets another. That's the beautiful thing about being in service. And so there's so many opportunities. It's about keeping our eyes open for them as they show up around us as we move through life. All the opportunities that are available to us are in everyday life. So I'm inviting you this week to just stay open to any type of need where some sort of support is needed, and to step in and listen to your heart. Baha'u'llah, who's the founder of the Baha'i faith, said, "Ye are the fruits of one tree, the leaves of one branch. Deal ye one with another with the utmost love and harmony, with friendliness and fellowship. So powerful is the light of unity that it illumines the whole earth." So let us shine the light of unity through being willing to be vulnerable, to create connection, through being willing to serve, to create connection. And so in doing so, we are making a difference. We are illuminating the whole earth because of our connection with one another. So let's turn within in prayer, giving thanks for this opportunity to deepen into this awareness of the wholeness and the oneness of life. And at the same time, this amazing, blessed diversity of each and every one of us as unique expressions of the one life. Realizing the creative power that we have within us, our ability to make a difference daily in our lives by being willing to have that conversation that's difficult, being willing to be vulnerable and share our perspective, being willing to deepen our connection so that we come from a place of a desire to understand and connect. I know that these beautiful moments and opportunities to connect, to serve, to communicate, to understand are those blessed opportunities to deepen into our awareness of who we truly are as pure spirit. We're having these experiences in a human body, and yet in full awareness that this eternal nature of who we are is here to express our divinity, to express that love, to express that peace, to express that harmony, so that all of us may more fully experience heaven on earth, a world that works for all. So it is with a joyful heart, a grateful heart, that I release this prayer, this word, to the action of divine law, universal law, with a faith and a deep trust that it is fulfilled. Let's accept it together, my friends, with a powerful yes, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
I have a new song that I wrote on the third day of this year.